I'm about to show you some of the worst overacting you have ever seen in your entire life, and it comes from a pretty unlikely place, the town of Issaquah, Washington. And the absolute nonsense text over the video is part of the show, so enjoy.
We're all up here watching this. We're here.
You weren't there to protect me. Where were you?
We're all up here.
There to protect me, though. If you saw that, why did you not protect me?
Ma'am, I did not see that. I did not see that.
I was
Okay?
getting accosted.
We heard that. That's why we were coming out here.
I was walking by, asking why they were in school. And everyone just said,
So me and Sasha walked up, and Sasha, we had our cameras out because we were kind of in disbelief that there was even a protest. We're like, wow, there's a protest, because I cover stuff like that, right? All the time.
Yeah, because you're a MAGA grifter.
We were just in disbelief. And so we were walking down the sidewalk, and she nicely just said, wow, these are kids, and they all started chanting. And she said, why aren't you in school? And they surrounded her, and that happened.
Yeah, so those are a couple of right-wing grifter girlies. They come around Portland sometimes. I'm familiar with them. I love how she had to be careful to flip her hair back and pose before she emoted so excessively. They're framing this as, we were just wandering by. Like, sometimes we cover protests because we pretend that we're journalists, but we're right-wing MAGA grifters. And we're just wandering by. We definitely weren't doing anything untoward. We definitely weren't aggressing against children. And then we were just totally unprovoked. We were attacked. That's the framing they've dumped out all over their social media. But that's not what happened at all. Now, I want to discuss this in the next video because there's a disturbing trend of adults like these ladies aggressing on children who are exercising their First Amendment right to protest. These are adults who are attempting to instigate violence against children, sometimes for social media content or because they are dysregulated MAGA, or, sometimes both. Adults aggressing against children. Adults trying to start shit with literal children. I want you to pay attention to these grifters' facial expressions.
Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Lawmakers and supporters of these acts try and push the argument. Okay, pause.
She's giddy, gleeful. Did you see the look of absolute glee on those women's faces? Now, that Conspira Cookies, or whatever the fuck her name is, she claimed she was a Democrat for 10 years and then she walked away. She saw the light and, she saw the grift, and now she is a MAGA Instagrammer, streamer, whatever the fuck. There's so many of these chuddies and chudettes who are out there thinking that they're going to make a buck by starting shit. They are agent provocateurs. We know a number of them are funded by, dark money, Russian money, Republican money, Kristi Noem money. Right, it's that combo, instigator, agent provocateur, grifter, all rolled up into one. They have so much monetary incentive to create situations that they can use for content to inflame and provoke protesters so that they can get their little propaganda clip that they can use and the regime can put out in order to discredit protesters, in order to whatever. And especially for these grifters, just to get tons and tons of clicks, right? They're always trying to present themselves as the victims and the pro-democracy movement as unreasonable and unhinged. Meanwhile, these are grown-ass adults getting up into the faces of literal children.
Counter-protester blowing a whistle in the teens' faces.
Because they are hoping to make a buck off of an incident that they can incite. Right? It's despicable, but these guys are a known quantity. They are a known quantity. I think it's important to understand how we need to, I'm not blaming the high schoolers, by the way. I'm not blaming these kids at all. But it's important that if we're going to be out protesting, that we all get skills when it comes to dealing with these fuckers. Because what they want is to get a rise out of you so that they can film it for content. I had a video a while back where I talked about how one of the most effective things you can do to shut these guys down is to start playing Disney music really, really loud, because nothing will get a copyright strike faster than Disney music on your video. If they can't use any of the footage for their stream or for content that they post later on Instagram or YouTube, then you have cut them off at the pass. Someone at your group or protest needs to have a bullhorn or a speaker, and then they've got to have like a whole new world queued up and just ready to go. Get that Mulan soundtrack ready and just crank it. But in general, I think when we look at these kind of folks coming in here, we need to understand what their agenda is, and we need to understand that we're not giving them a goddamn thing that they want. We're not paying their bills for them. We're not going to give them anything they can use for content so that they can grift off of a fascist takeover of the United States. Again, I'm not blaming these kids. These are children who are earnestly trying to exercise their protected First Amendment rights, and we don't expect them to have superhuman control. That's not true. In the United States, we expect children to have far more self-control than adults. We expect little children to have more self-control than literal adult grown-ass men or these women, right? So I'm not blaming these kids, but I think if we are helping organize protests anywhere, including youth who are organizing protests, it's important for us to learn gray rocking skills. It's important for us to learn de-escalation skills. It's important for us to learn how to deal with counter-protesters and grifters, because we don't want to play into their hand. We want our protests to be successful. If these students are making the sacrifice of walking out of school, we want the message that they want to be elevated, not the message that these grifters are trying to put out, not the propaganda that these grifters are trying to create to subvert the messages of those students. And man, oh man, Conspira Cookie, she just grifted just pure, so many videos off of this, so many videos. She's making mad money. And we don't want to assist any of these guys in that. We want to run them out of business. We don't want to give them anything they can use for content. I have a whole series of videos on my YouTube about nonviolent resistance, and a number of those are about gray rocking, de-escalation, various skills you can use. And when I say de-escalation, these guys, just like ICE, they are there to escalate. These grifters are there to escalate, and they will keep pushing and pushing and getting in your face and insulting you, and then they will play victim if you put your hands on them, or even if you just say anything back, right? They will selectively edit the video to make it look how they want to look. So we don't want to give them anything that they can use for their social media at all. So de-escalation is really not about de-escalating these guys. It's about de-escalating our people. It's about helping our people not engage. And if you are a leader or on the safety team for your group, it's really important that you learn those de-escalation skills so you can de-escalate yourself, and then you can help your friends. You can have solidarity with your friends. You can, right? What's our motto? Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. And we're going to keep our buddies safe by de-escalating them so that they don't engage with grifters. At the Nonviolent Resistance Bootcamp that I went to last fall, we ran through some of these scenarios. What do you do when counter-protesters get up in your face? And there are sometimes a lot of them, and they're very overwhelming. What do you do in those situations? Any grassroots group, but especially high schoolers, I just want to encourage you. It's really important to take the time to role play what might happen, to just at least talk it out. But if you can, possibly role play these scenarios so you don't walk into these situations and it goes really sideways for you, right? Y'all want to maintain control and self-discipline. One thing that our group came up with is that we all sing a song together. If the counter-protesters get in our face, one way that we make sure that we don't engage with them, we don't take the bait, we don't even listen to what they're saying, is that we all turn toward each other and we start singing a song. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, whatever you want to say. Come up with your own song. And then you're focused on the words that you're singing. You're focused on each other. Another strategy of gray rocking is everybody just gives the counter protesters their back. Wherever the counter protesters are, you're just constantly positioning your back toward them over and over and over again. Continue to deny them what they want. They will continue to escalate. That's okay. That's okay. You understand that you're never going to give them anything that they want. And all the while, we're working on de-escalating each other. We're focusing on our message. We are continuing with our protest. And if needed, right, hopefully we have a safety liaison who has some more advanced training. Maybe somebody from your group wants to go. There are workshops all the time, y'all, wants to go and get that more advanced training. I'm going to a whole day workshop on advanced de-escalation techniques and dealing with more combative counter-protesters or more difficult situations that are really, really heated, really escalated. And I'm looking forward to that because I think those skills are super, super important. I can seem a little bit aggressive on social media, but if I'm on the safety team, my job is just like taking the temperature down, right? My job is taking it all down and making sure that we all stay safe. And also that we don't give these motherfuckers anything that they want, and that we make sure that our message gets out. We want our protests to be successful. We want our sacrifices. And again, these students are often facing disciplinary consequences at school. They're at least missing class. We want to make sure that their sacrifice is worthwhile. We want to make sure that we elevate and amplify their voices. We have a long, proud history of student protest in this country. The voices of the youth really, really matter. So how can we help the youth, and how can we help ourselves to make sure that these grifters don't profit off of derailing the good and necessary work that we are all engaged in? Again, no hate to these kids. No hate to these kids. It is not their fault at all. But we want to continue to skill build so these chuddies and chudettes, they don't get anything from us. They don't get a goddamn dollar. And that they don't provoke a situation in which children are being arrested, because that's what happened in this incident. And I hope that all those kids are safe, and I hope that their group can work on strategizing and figuring out how to do better next time, because the grifters are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. And we have to continue to keep exercising our constitutionally protected First Amendment rights.